Hey, it's Target Shooter 145, and today we're going to be talking about me getting a new primary camera. Now, the one I'm filming with now, which I have always throughout the whole channel here, is a Sony-made camera. It's made by Sony. Can't remember the name of it right now, but I got a new primary camera. Now, this won't always be my primary camera, but basically what I'm going to be doing with this thing now, you can tell it kind of looks like a DSLR a little bit, but it's actually made by Sony too. But I'm not sure really what this little thing on the front is for. I know you can take it off and put it back on. I don't know. I don't know that much about cameras. But one thing that stood out to me is that it can shoot in 4K video, which is a very good thing because anybody that wants to watch my videos, perhaps watching on like a really high definition TV or something, which I know you can do from time to time. Some people do. And some people have those 4K videos now, and 4K isn't exactly like what is it, the resolution of a camera. Now, that's the highest quality I can get off this camera, and it's about most cameras where you can get the highest off of them when you're recording, and it's about, what was it, 3,840 pixels across. I'm still trying to learn about what pixels are, but what was it, 2,160 pixels up and down. So that's pretty good, because the one I got now is 1920 by 1080 pixels. And this will be a step up for anybody that wants to watch my videos at home and at their TV instead of at their laptop or computer, and still look pretty nice. And one thing that I really liked about this is, let me power the thing on here, is that you might be able to see it's kind of slow. It has a pretty good zoom on it. It's not nearly as good as the one I got recording now, because that one works on a little bit of optical zoom and a bit of digital zoom. This one, I'm not really sure how they measure this, but it's like 24 to 200 millimeters. If you know anything about cameras, please fill me in about what that is. But the two or three things that stood out to me the most is the 4K video, like I already mentioned, and it has a high-speed mode. It actually does about the same thing. If you watch the videos where I've used this thing before. Now, the reason I wanted to get this thing, they do the same frame rate, up to 1,000 frames per second. This guy does this, but you don't keep the 4K video. It's sad that would just be awesome, or at least 1080 for 1,000 frames per second. That would be awesome. But this is a consumer grade camera. It's not professional, and I am not a professional. I don't get paid for this stuff. I just like making YouTube videos. But what it does is it has two different modes, but I'm just going to go through the regular mode where I'd have it on. It does 250 frames per second, 500, and 1,000 frames per second. And on 250, it can do what that camera right there does. What you're seeing right now is what if I'm doing 250 frames per second, you'd see what you see now. And it still stays in HD, which is 1280 by 720. Still don't know what the heck that is. All I know is they're called pixels, and I don't know what that is exactly. But it still stays in high definition with 500 frames per second. But when it goes up to 1,000, it goes down to, what was it, 360? It's a little under standard. That's what a lot of people said. And so it's pretty good, because this thing had awful quality when it was shooting at 1,000 frames per second. And but this one, it's pretty nice. I mean, it's got a pop-up flash for when I take pictures. Now, I do like taking pictures a little bit, but the main thing this is going to be used for on this channel at least is video, of course. And one thing that stood out to me is that, well, if you've been here for a while, if you're a viewer or a subscriber, you know I was trying to do this one thing with this little mic clip to my shirt. But the reason I stopped doing that was it was really, really annoying, because I had to get my laptop, and what I used to edit my videos on my laptop, that thing has like a recorder thing on it, and well, I had to hook it up to the laptop. I had to bring my laptop outside for it. It was just annoying. So I was better off easier using just the camera's audio. But with this thing, you can't see, I'm pretty sure you can't see it from from that camera, but it has a microphone jack and a headphone jack. Now, what that will allow me to do is hook up to the mic to this, and what do they call this thing on the top? Hot shoe? I don't know. Something to attach like boom mics to. So I might get one of those, or just use the clip-on microphone. And but this thing is pretty cool. I mean, it has 4K video, which will be a lot better if you're a viewer or a subscriber and you always like to watch videos on your TV, like your smart TV that allows you to watch YouTube videos. You probably want to see really good quality videos if you have a 4K TV, and this thing will allow you to do that. And whenever I want to do high-speed shooting with this thing, I could just prop this thing on a tripod, have my cameraman hold that camera, and 1080 is still okay, but if I want to just make a regular video, no high-speed video, I'm going to be using this thing. But if I want to do a high-speed video, this thing's going to be recording the action, and this thing was not cheap at all, okay? This, you could probably tell by looking at this thing. It's real big, it's pretty good. I mean, the brand new price for this thing was $1,300. I had to wait for the tax money to come back in, which is around this time, to get this thing, okay? But I had to get one used because we still had a bunch of other things that we had to pay off, my family, and this thing I got it for about $900. $900 is pretty good compared to $1,300. And everything was in the box. The guy was pretty useful. I was afraid that this thing would be torn up or smashed or something, so I was hoping that, but it turned out pretty nice. It's got a viewfinder. Now I don't really use that. I'd rather just use the screen because even when I look through it, when it's on, it's kind of blurry. But this thing is a big step up in slow motion compared to this thing. And I would have been doing slow motion at least at 480 frames per second or something with this little guy. Well, I gave this thing to my sister because her camera. Now you can doubt me all you want, but we got her a Nikon, little red Nikon camera for Christmas one year, and it just started taking blurry pictures. She loves taking pictures, so gave her this thing that never had blurry pictures, and she didn't even get to use it yet before the charger went up missing. Now I thought I left it up at my cousin's house. I looked in my room, I looked in her room. I just couldn't find it, so this thing is out of use until we can find that charger, and I don't think I'm going to find it. So switched to this enormous camera. Compared to that thing, it's pretty big, and it just takes better quality video and still does 1,000 frames per second like that thing does. So that's the only thing I pretty much get with cameras is the frames per second. Now, like I said, this is not a professional camera. I am not a professional YouTuber or anything like that. If this was a professional camera, well, for one, I wouldn't have it. I'd have something like a Phantom that can actually keep, high definition videos up above 1,000 frames per second. This thing does max out at 1,000 frames per second, by the way. And lastly, you're probably wondering why the heck I am in my garage. Well, I'm actually having to record this video late, instead of, because I usually record my videos on Sunday, somewhere over the weekend, but I'm on spring break and it's freaking Wednesday because I've been waiting for the wind to die down, and I just said, forget it, I'm going to go in the garage and make this video. And I got the door and the windows relying for outside light so it doesn't look, dim or anything. I would be using the one light that works in here for light instead, but that thing has an annoying buzzing, and a lot of people probably know what I'm talking about. It has an annoying buzzing that I cannot stand, and you probably would think it's annoying too. Now, I think the wind has stayed pretty calm for the whole part I'm making this video, which is kind of irritating because I could have probably made this outside. But if it would have got really, the wind would have got really powerful when I was making this, you probably would have heard this big garage door move and squeak, kind of like, because sometimes it does do that. I'm glad it hasn't done that because that would have been really annoying because you probably thought it annoying when I did it. But basically this is a simple video camera that will video little detail, do that. Yeah. But 4K and high-speed video was when I was looking for a new high-speed camera. When this thing's charger got lost, I just came across this. Now this thing is made by Sony, and Sony is my all-time favorite company for this type of stuff. When they make TVs or anything like that, Sony is awesome. But so it's sturdy and it's going to be reliable, because that one has been reliable for the past few years. And running out of breath here. But I don't have the right SD card for it right now. I need a faster reading one so I can do 4K video and the high frame rate stuff. And you'll be seeing that in my next video. Oh, and another thing is, if you have any recommendations of what you'd like to see in slow motion with this thing related to firearms, anything of that nature, just try not to make it too expensive, because I'm not the richest person in the world. But yes, I was able to afford a $900 camera, but that was with taxes back money. I couldn't just go ahead and, hey, let's buy this whenever I want. No, that didn't happen. But just try to keep it, let's see, in a price range under $100, $150, where you want to see something shot with a 22, or I actually have a more powerful gun up in the house that I'm waiting to show you guys. It's really cool. It's going to be like a sniper rifle type thing. It's got this nice 4 to 16 power scope, and I can see off to 150 yards and shoot a can off a fence. That was pretty cool, but I still need to adjust the scope a little bit. Also got another gun that I'm going to be showing before that one that y'all will hopefully think is kind of cool, but I'll just say it's not a rifle, it's a pistol. But this thing should capture some pretty cool stuff, and a lot clearer than this little white, I don't know what to call that thing beside the camera. But basically, if you want to, see anything, I still have a lot of stuff planned for slow motion video. Like, I have maybe about 5 or 10 targets up there that I'm going to be doing in separate videos to see how it looks when it gets hit in slow motion from this thing. So that ought to be cool. But if you have any recommendations, I'm open to them. And thank you very much for watching this video. Appreciate it so much. I can't believe I actually got any subscribers at all. I'm surprised I'm actually still going with this. I thought this would last at the maximum of a year, but it's this coming up in November this year. It's going to be 3 years. So it's pretty nice. Might show some B-roll here in a second. But if you have any recommendations of what you want to see in slow motion, but just leave them in the comments, send a message over Twitter, anything. Just any way where I can see it over the web. But thank you very much for watching this video. Appreciate it so much, and I really wish that wind would have been terrible today, because then I would have had a benefit from this being in the garage. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.